Hey everybody, it's Jillian. So I want to make sure that no one misunderstands that Jilly juice is not an unregulated, deregulated type of drink. It actually is regulated it has been regulated by the US government, by the Ohio Attorney General. When I went through the vetting process, when they were asking me to substantiate my claims to where I had to get I didn't have to, but I chose to get my juice tested by a food lab, by a reputable food lab that's out here in Columbus, Ohio. And those results were sent to the Ohio Attorney General. It's a regulation. I went through a regulatory process, so to speak. Okay? And so deregulation is a double-edged sword. Now, I don't like to gamble, especially when I can't control all the components that are working in the background. So that's why, the reason why I'm talking about this is because I just saw an article about a cryptocurrency, thorex, that was allegedly the guy, took off with like 3 billion or so assets or cryptocurrencies, and everyone, I guess, with their accounts, they couldn't get access to their accounts. And so there really isn't a regulation on some of these cryptocurrencies. So it is a gamble. You really don't know what you're putting your money towards, and then it could go high or it could go low. It's a gamble that, I'm not trying to be a negative Nancy, but I just want, I want to make sure you guys understand that Jilly Juice is nothing like cryptocurrency. Jilly Juice is regulated by the government. Jilly Juice was vetted out. I was vetted out by the FBI because I voluntarily went to the FBI's office when I was getting death threats by the idiots out there who didn't understand Jilly Juice. So I walked my ass. So actually what I did was I made a report to the FBI, and they called me back actually a few months later. And they said, hey, we want you to come into our office and talk to us. And I knew I was going to get interrogated. Well, I didn't really know, but I had a feeling something like that was going to happen because the FBI doesn't just talk to anybody. You really have to have something going on in your world for you to talk to the FBI. So I went through the interrogation process because they want to know both sides of the story. When you have a complaint, they know there's two sides. Not everybody that reports a complaint is always innocent. So they had to figure out that I wasn't some crazy person. They probably still thought I was crazy, but I wasn't breaking any laws. So I've been through the regulation process through the state. Jilly Juice is not commercially driven, so it doesn't have to go through FDA processes. Okay? But it is regulated because I went through that regulation process a couple years ago. All right? So I don't want anyone thinking that I am like anti-government, that Jilly Juice is like anti-government. It is not anti-government. Jilly Juice is actually very much in line with having people understand all the components behind the scenes. You're not just gambling. You're not just gambling your money like cryptocurrency. And I'm telling you, it's. I've been watching people go into like Dogecoin or Dogecoin, whatever you want to call it, go into all these different cryptocurrencies, and they love it because they like to see all the fluctuations of going high and whatever. But nothing is ever 100% when you don't know all the workings in the background. With Jilly Juice, you know the workings in the background. You're going to feel pain. Pain is just evolution. You're going to, eat food because food is the coding to your DNA. You're going to release the excess, all the things that are causing the overabundance or opening up channels that weren't previously open because your predispositions closed certain channels that needed to be open. And so you're going to feel a biochemical fluctuation and then, yes, possibly indefinite life, immortality. Salt is not poisonous. Water is not poisonous. Neither is cabbage and kale. Neither is the food supply. And if you want to be around for a long ass time, you got to face your evolution. You got to face your predispositions. So the government has regulated Jilly Juice because of their involvement a couple years ago. Even Interpol was contacted. If you read that BuzzFeed article that was trying to slam me, trying to tie me to somebody's death that was unsubstantiated, but they were trying to make inferences. And then so many people were trying to jump on that bandwagon. They have no problem with me. I'm not running from the government. I'm not trying to hide from. I'm so fucking transparent. I'm probably more transparent with my Jilly Juice than most of you are transparent about your lives. Which I understand, your lives are private. But I tell you, I live my life out loud because I want someone to regulate me. because I have nothing to hide. Now, but people who hide behind their troll accounts have a lot to hide, and they have always something to say, and it's always not true. But no, I don't want anyone trying to compare me to cryptocurrency because it's not regulated. We need to have some form of government regulation in a lot of different things because of the fact that there are nefarious people that will take advantage of people. Like some of these, these cryptocurrencies, like some of the drugs out there. Okay? There's a lot of illicit drugs out there that are being made under the table that you don't know what it's being cut with or what it's being grown with. And so sometimes you have to have some kind of regulatory process to make sure that you're not going to die from one hit. Okay? So we can't be anti-government. And I'm not anti-government. Oh yeah, I probably came off like that a couple of years ago, yes, because that's where the Jilly juice came from, was I'm trying to be anti-government, conspiracy, whatever. But then everything has come full circle, and I find the balance and understanding both sides of the story. I don't just take one freaking side. When you do that, then you will lose any objectivity. Now you're just subjective with an agenda. I have no attachment. People buy my book. I have no attachment. People do my Jilly juice. If you want to live, you will actually promote life in your body. If you're okay with dying, then you'll do everything you can to anesthetize yourself, take all your antibiotics and your herbs and your pills and your powders and supplements and diets and destroy yourself. And people are doing that. And, there's nothing I can say to them. They're dead set on trying to destroy themselves. So I can't intervene. It's not my place to. If you want to live, you have to actually want to live and actually align yourself with life. Okay? But I'm not anti-government, and Jilly juice is regulated. Because, again, fermentation has been around for years, but this is salt fermentation. This is not alcohol fermentation. I'm not promoting alcohol. I'm not promoting fermenting fruit or anything else like that. Because, yes, when you are fermenting sugar, it turns into alcohol, and it does have an antibiotic effect to bodies that are not very well balanced. And then you see it in the population. People are aging and degrading and accelerating their entropy process very fast because the environment is that much more aggressive. Okay, the viruses, the therapeutics, people's way of dealing with their predispositions are accelerating the death process. Okay, there's a lady across the street from me who had a few times an ambulance come over. Now, she's elderly, yes. And now I see this huge, container that's like a garbage container from like the Mid-Valley Waste Company. And the family is there taking all of her belongings out and throwing them in the dumpster. I guess she finally passed away from the freaking virus. That's what you guys have to look forward to, that don't give a fuck about your life. I probably care more about people's lives than they care about their own lives. But, if I can find every example to show you guys that facing your evolution and not being so attached to worldly things to where you are back painting yourself in a corner. You have so much that you have to be responsible for. And you have so much ego or social standing that you're willing to sacrifice yourself for your social standing and all your money and worldly goods. Fine, I guess that's our society. That's the American way, is to sacrifice your body, mind, and spirit for your family, your friends, and whatever else that you find, attractive at the moment. But Jilly juice is regulated. It has been regulated. Okay? And if you ever actually make the juice properly, you can submit it to a food lab and they can count how many live active cultures that are in there. It's probiotic with an energizing effect. And yeah, you're going to have to feel pain. You may have to get off your pot and stop smoking yourself to death. Oh, but wait, hold on a second. Pot's healing. Herbs are healing. No, they're not. They're destroying the hell out of it. You know the Phoenix Tears? What's his name? That guy that is a cannabis, he uses CBD for everything. He's aging and degrading. He is aging and degrading. You know how long he's been on the CBD promoting cannabis to everyone out there? Is he a bastion of health that you want to emulate? Willie Nelson, he's been smoking for years. Cheech and Chong, smoking for years, and they look like the Walking Dead. Is that where you want to end up? The Walking Dead? literally. Okay, so salt is the energizing force. It's the electricity. It's a liquefied electricity that's going to energize your immune system that has both the growth potential and the search and destroy to make sure that the design of the original design of your body stays intact, so you don't have an arm that's 10 feet long. Everything is proportional. And then guess what? You can actually potentially reverse the aging process without starving yourself, without taking your detoxes and smoking your pot, without having to turn to things that anesthetize you and get you drunk and get you high and get you all, escaping your life, because for some reason people want to escape their life. You know why? Because they are dealing with so much shit that they have like pushed deep down inside. And they pretend everything is great. Oh, they put on a face. Oh, I see the face people put on out there. Everything is great as they're dying inside. I know I'm very intense. Hey, Wendy, great. She was dreaming about solids and its conductivity last night. Oh, yeah, I'm very intense. You know why? Because I see the value. I mean, after a couple days of just, chilling with fatigue from the last variant I was exposed to, I'm fucking like a spring chicken right now. I'm writing my book and I'm like, oh my God, I see a connection between this. I mean, I'm analyzing the World Economic Forum strategic partnerships with these Fortune 500 companies. And I'm analyzing what these companies do. And I'm like, they're doing the same thing that I'm doing with Jilly Juice. Basically, business process reengineering. Jilly Juice is actually reengineering the body so we can actually have a longevity. You've been completely snowed by the medical holistic industry, by the drug industry. And so your life is being cut short. And the communications between all of your different hormones are being cut short. That's why people age. It's because they have cut the lines of communication between the functional silos in their bodies. That's why companies don't last very long, because the people's communication between the functional silos have, deteriorated. Company leaders making bad decisions because their bodies are degrading. They're not making the sound decisions like they did when they were younger. Now they're more, they're more focused on other things. They're not looking at the longevity of their company, looking at now. They don't invest in their people. They don't invest in themselves. And so we're watching a lot of companies and people deteriorate because they have not invested in themselves. And so what I'm doing is now showing the connection between companies that are basically like a body. And every single system in the body is like a functional silo, like a department. And every single person is like a cell. Every single person brings something to the table. And if you can't make that connection between the body, mind, and spirit, and then the company's organizational development, what is the three components of a company is, what is it? Let me see if I can memorize this. Operational excellence, customer communication, and financial management. And so I'm going to be writing about the fact that, the body, Jilly Juice, is about financial management. Yes, Wendy, everything is connected. It's about communication between all the functional silos in your body, in your organs, in your systems. It's about operational excellence. You want a good freaking strong company, you got to have a strong ass body and a strong ass workforce. But if your workforce is dying, your company is going to be dying. It's all freaking connected. You want to get all your marbles and all your worldly goods and all of your social capital now. Well, you're going to sacrifice yourself and your kids and your husband and your wife so you can be all top dog for 10, 15, 20 years. And then guess what? You get diagnosed with cancer, disease, chronic illness, and you go to the hospital, you get oncology, you get the chemotherapy and radiation, and guess what? Your body's falling apart. That is what's happening out there. If it takes a year for this lady to pass away from when she was exposed to the COVID, with all of her predispositions, other people have been taking chemotherapy and radiation and whatever, and now a year later, they're in hospice. That's what you have to look forward to, guys. If you don't figure out how to redirect the energy that you have. Oh, it's great going hiking and being all out there in the community going, oh, I'm anti-government and I'm going to go and not wear a mask and go out there and just say, screw the social distancing and whatever. But you don't realize that the atmosphere is so fucking aggressive. And then when you feel a pain, you're going to take your cannabis, you're going to take your painkillers, you're going to go drink and go get distracted so you don't feel your evolution. And then guess what? 10 years have been taken off your life. 10 freaking years. But hey, you're supposed to die, right? All your friends are promoting it. Yeah, we're supposed to die. Get your vaccine. Which fine, get your vaccine. Go get this, go get that, go take your drugs, do whatever it takes so you don't feel shit until you don't feel shit. Literally. So I'm like, whew. I'm so energized, it's unreal. And so, all I have to offer you is to understand that your body is like an organization. Your body's like a company. When companies go under, it's because the people go under. And then the workforce goes under. There are some out there that have been around. Like, I'm studying the World Economic Forum strategic partnerships, and some of their companies have been around since the Ottoman Empire. I'm pretty impressed with some of their partnerships. I could see why the World Economic Forum is part of the New World Order, the New World Economic Forum Order. And that's also part of my book. Oh, I'll be covering Klaus Schwab and all of his connections, and understand that the 13, 17 bloodlines that run your world. And they're going to exploit the crap out of you unless you learn how to turn the tables and exploit yourself to your benefit, not somebody else's. And so I see now all the connections. And I learned BPR way back when I took a class at Chapman. And then I was studying, or it was kind of an intern for somebody that was working with Microsoft, working with Chevron, which is another one of their high strategic partnerships with the World Economic Forum, the oil and gas industry. They have so many functional silos and so many platforms they have to connect. They have to understand business process reengineering, because if they're going to go and be global and have to integrate systems and then change management, it takes a concerted effort to do that, from the enterprise level to the service level, and then all points in between, and all the vendors and all the customers, and then all the different components, all the different moving parts. And if you are not communicating with one moving part, you're going to have an unpredictable outcome. So everything is connected. It really is. And so it's like my book is going to be about how do you organize your body, mind, and spirit, as well as whatever company you go into, or whatever company that you are heading up. You could be, individually employed. You could be an entrepreneur, but you have to understand all the moving parts. You have to examine. That's what Jilly Juice does. It examines every single component of the food supply, the ideologies, the belief systems, the recipe, everything that makes up the recipe. And it understands the power of it individually, and then the power of it being integrated together through a chemical bonding process. And then, you got to feel pain, because every growth is painful. The history of America was painful. We are now doing a lot of reparations and taking down old statues that really don't mean things anymore. Like in Sacramento, they're taking down Junipero Serra, and they're going to put up an Indian, because there's the other side of history that is being ignored. And so I'm going to bring up the 13 bloodlines, the New World Order, and the World Economic Forum, and the Georgia Guidestones, which is another business process reengineering. Taking down from 7 billion people to 500 million is like a quality assurance. Can you make the quality assurance? Can you make, not being laid off or being disappeared so quickly? Some of you are going to be disappeared in the next 10 years. Because of how aggressive these viruses are, and then what you're going to do to respond to your evolution. You're going to keep taking your drugs and all of your different therapeutics that are going to then cause more thermodynamics, more than you can handle. Because everything is about energy. How you handle the energy. And so this is such an exciting time, but you have to see the connections. And so I'm going to lay it out. It's going to be in black and white. And then you're going to make a choice. Do you want to live? Do you want to pass away? The new world is not about dying for the people on the Jilly Juice. The new world's going to be about, now you have a choice. You promote the laws of life and honor those that don't promote it. That's fine. If you believe that people should die and you want to die, fine. I honor your choice. But Jane can take me down with you. That's for damn sure. But that's fine. If that's what you want, that's what you believe in, who am I to try to convert you? Because I don't want to convert anyone. I don't want anybody converting me either. But I want to give you the choice, because we haven't had the choice. And now that you have the choice, Now you can be 100% responsible. And you can't blame anyone but yourself. You can't blame the vaccine industry. You can't blame biotech. You can't blame your mom and dad. You can't even blame your husband or your wife or whatever. You know. So anyways, but I want to say that Jilly Juice is regulated by the government. And be careful gambling with cryptocurrency. Do not invest more than you can afford to lose. Like anything that you gamble. If there's not some kind of government regulation where you have some kind of assurances and insurance, okay, because our banks are FDIC protected, right? If you don't have that kind of protection with cryptocurrency, then you are flying blind. So not everything that's unregulated really is good for you, just so you understand. But Jilly Juice is regulated, and it's nothing like crypto. All right, have a good day. Bye.